There's one theory that I have to push back on. I don't think it's true. This is a very popular theory, and it's that Rhys is secretly evil. I'm going to tell you why, but I don't buy it, and I think it would absolutely ruin the story if this theory turns out to be true. So let me start with what the theory has going for it. Rhys clearly has the ability to manipulate minds and implant thoughts in people's brains that end up changing their own decisions and actions. He planted the vision of the night sky in Feyre's mind before she even went to the spring court, before she was made. That could very well be seen as pushing a domino in a long chain of cause and effect that led the two of them to end up together. His inner circle, similarly, could have also been subjected to mental manipulation. They obviously perceive him as a good guy, as a protector, as someone with honor. But we can't trust their perception if Rhys manipulated them to see him in the positive light that they see him in. Theoretically, he could have orchestrated every event that happened in Prythian leading up to Book 6. Also, he's no stranger to crossing moral boundaries if he thinks the ends justify the means. For example, when he was under the mountain, he followed Amarantha's order to wipe someone's brain. In his mind, the immediate harm becomes the price he has to pay to stay close to power, gather information, and ultimately protect those he loves, and also to survive long enough to help bring her down. The point is, maybe Rhys has other objectives that aren't in the best interests of the other characters that we know and love. Also, it's very curious that in the war against Hybern, Rhys transforms into his beast form. Feyre says his beast form looks like the winged beasts carved into the pillars at Hounds City. At another point in the story, Rhys is explaining to Nesta the history of the Daglans, who were these awful, cruel rulers of Prythian before the Fae were in control. They used these mighty beasts called Hounds to hunt down their prey, which was the Fae at the time. And he makes a point to note that the Hounds didn't look like dogs. And then in the prison, Lanthus gives Nesta a vision of what it would look like if they ruled together. And in this vision, there are hounds sitting at his feet. And Nesta explicitly states the hounds looked like the beasts in the Hounds City. So that's weird. Does Rhys have a connection to the Daglan? Does the Night Court have a connection to the Daglan? People also pointed out that when Feyre looked into the Ouroboros mirror, she saw something beastly and demonic. She seems to have accepted that was the core of who she was, and she painted a picture of that beast and gave it to Rhys as a present, and Rhys loved it. That's also weird. To be fair, I think the beast was a symbol of the dark parts of her past and some of the awful things that she's had to do to survive. By confronting and accepting the beast, she was confronting and accepting the darkness within her. And I think giving that gift to Rhys was an extension of that acceptance. By saying, this is what's dark and ugly in me, I accept what's dark and ugly in you as well. So that could be taken in different ways, I guess. You could say that Rhys and Feyre are obviously evil because of this, but you can also say that here are two people who have been through a lot and had to do a lot of bad stuff to survive, but who are inherently good. So, while I think all of these points are interesting, the Rhys is secretly evil theory wouldn't be a plot twist or a reveal. It would undermine the entire story. It's like we've already exhausted the format of a story when it comes to Rhys and Feyre. They found their way to each other. They defeated the King of Hybern. They saved the world from the threat of the fractured cauldron. They both died and were revived. And then their final dream came true of having a baby. It's like we've already seen their happy ending. There's nowhere for a Rhys betrayal to go that doesn't just retroactively damage everything the series built. The triumph of good over evil, that was the war with Hybern. friendship, found family, connections with others that were capable of pulling people from rock bottom. Feyre's epic hero's journey. I just don't see a way for there to be a Rhys betrayal without betraying the entire story. But maybe there is some truth to the theory in that we don't know the whole story about Rhys, and there's something about his past and history that is going to shed new light on everything. All right, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe for more ACOTAR videos, and I'll see you in the next one.